Hey everyone, it's Walker at Full Spectrum Laser, and welcome to In the Cut, the little series where we just kind of watch the laser do its thing. Now today, the thing we're doing is the Muse sample. There we go, it's right here, there, magic. So that is it in our software, and if you don't know this sample, this is for people who are looking to buy the machine and they want to see some sort of output. So I designed this guy. A lot of other companies use the Aztec calendar, so we designed something a little bit different. And that's going to be on 1/4-inch poplar wood. And we can bring up the settings and stuff right here, right Charles? New fancy stuff. There we go. So our system is the Muse. We're doing a raster and vector. And then we're doing the 1/4-inch poplar, like I said. And those are your power settings on the Muse. So our Muse is a 45 watt. These power settings for 1/4-inch poplar will work great for you. So without further ado, let's get started. So guys, we're through the bottom part where it shows our website, and as you can see, that's a relief engraving, and it's very deep into that poplar, and the poplar is actually a non-ply, meaning that it's just a complete solid piece of wood. And that always gives good depth engravings because you're not going to hit weird layers with the glue. Very soon we'll see even deeper engravings towards the center where it gets a lot more detail. So guys, remember that this is 1/4-inch poplar, and that is the max thickness you can cut with your Muse with your default lens. What else? And remember that this is also a bottom engraving. So the camera view you're seeing right here in the corner, there we go, is pointing towards the front of the machine. And then you can actually see those fumes getting drawn back past the camera. And that is why the bottom-up engraving is so beneficial, because all those fumes pass not over the actual engraving. So again, this is actually the sample. If you want to purchase this online, it's free. All you have to do is pay for shipping, and you get to see the output of the actual Muse. Now, why we chose this file and made it the way we did is to show the organic shapes and the actual geometric shapes playing together and how they work in an engraving and a cut. So you can see that gradient in the center around the actual logo, and then the cuts with their organic curves, and then the outward geometric cuts, and how precise that is and how clean that round cut is. And that's what we're going to be cutting, and it will be done shortly. As you guys can see, that there's actually a gradient in the center of our engraving, and that's because we use the dither option to engrave this piece of wood. And right after the engraving, it's going to go through the actual vector cuts. So once it gets past the action of the left and the right, it's going to follow those outside paths and cut it out. Alrighty, so now we're getting to the vector cutting, and it's going to be at 15 speed, 100 power, and 100 current. That's kind of slow, but with your Muse, you're cutting 1/4 inch material. So that's pretty good, because that is as thick as you can cut with your machine without going into issues and double passes and stuff like that. You can see that it's cutting out those letters with the extremely small detail and tight corners, and it's still not losing anything, or the kerf isn't too much. So I think it still looks pretty good. Those letters will cut and then drop out, and that's a good way to see that you're actually going all the way through. Now if you're cutting at a speed, and then it just starts smoking up from the top, you don't see any smoke billowing from the bottom, then you for sure aren't cutting through your material. And it's good to always look for that, because you don't want to ruin a project or your material just because you haven't cut all the way through and you move your material. All right, now that's a great shot of actually seeing the smoke, like I was talking about, bellow from the actual honeycomb and not the top of your material. It's cutting through, and that's a good thing, so you don't have to worry about it being ruined. You check to make sure everything's fine by whole project. But you probably one we just did. These guys, and it's all about keep in mind is what kind of output you want for your engraving. Especially, do you want it deep, do you want it dark? This guy still needs a post process. This guy was cleaned up a bit, so it's just really up to you. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow we have laser talk with Nick, and we're going to be talking about scrapbooking. Till next time, keep making.